Hello, my name is Danny Green. This is the Art and Science of Building Classroom Culture. I'm glad you guys came here. We have our books open to the brown pages in the back. I gave you a little bit of history about me putting the books together. First thing I wanted as a student, because I was thinking as a student and a teacher, is I wanted the workbook to be user-friendly. I wanted you to be able to see things demonstrated, so we're using video. I gave you the notes. I decided to take the notes from the book, add my own experience, and a little bit from the Mr. Wong book, which I've cited in there. Then I decided I wanted to have you guys, I would want to have discussions. So I put in discussion questions that you'll do as a group, and then you'll share out. That is the reason for the equity cards. I did not know who was all going to be in this workshop, so now I have all of your names. I'll be pulling those randomly, and I'll be sharing a little bit with you about how I use equity cards, how you can really get the best bang for the buck out of those cards. And then last but not least, you can see it, you can read it, and you can discuss it, but it doesn't do much good if you can't feel what these strategies feel like. So there will be some role play. At the very end, you'll create a little mini skit for one of the strategies that we're going to learn today, so you can feel what it's like to be a student and what it feels like to have to go through that strategy, okay? So it is a day-long workshop. We have breaks built in. There will be discussion. There will be getting up, because I understand it could be a long day. It's Friday, yay. But I do want you to get as much out of this as possible. I threw this in here. It's a little bit of humor, but also I think there's a little bit of truth in here. I expect you all to be independent, innovative, critical thinkers who will do exactly as I say. Raise your hand if you're teaching middle school. I spent 25 years of my 26 years in middle school. If you think they're going to do exactly as they're told, I'm here to tell you that won't happen. Raise your hand if you're high school teachers. Okay? Some of you were in a high school with some great mentor teachers, and you know what? They kind of did what you asked them to do, and you went, wow, that's cool. This is easy. I'm glad I'm teaching high school. But in high school, the behaviors become very subtle, like just having the phone out, or the little whispered sidebar conversation, or the kid who puts his head down on the desk. I see that quite a bit. Those are all discipline problems, folks. In middle school, the discipline problem sometimes is more animated, right? You hear it and you see it. Whereas in high school, it's not always heard, but it's definitely seen. And what happens is if the kid in high school is quiet, right, and we don't hear it, everything's good. Well, yeah, they do fine. They listen to what I'm saying. Well, yeah, half of them are asleep, and the other half are on the phone, right? Or they're whispering so low that you can't hear them. But that's all good, because at least I can't hear the discipline, right? When somebody makes a noise, then it becomes a big deal. In middle school, we have to get used to noise. But as Jay can attest, even in a middle school classroom, noise can be predicted. You can make the noise happen, or you can make the noise go away using some simple sign language, right? Building in routines. And those routines take procedures, and those procedures have to be taught over and over with consistency. And if it doesn't work, you teach it a different way, right? Just like you would a lesson. And you're going to march through that the whole entire year, and you sing the same song the same way every day. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how do we get these procedures in practice, and how do we keep it all the way through the year, so by October, we're not pulling our hair out going, wait a minute, they did it great the first week. Well, yeah, the first week they were scared, they were nervous, they didn't know what they were supposed to do. But then the second, third week, they start to loosen up. And by the fifth week, usually fifth or sixth week, teachers start having trouble with the discipline, when a few weeks ago they were doing just fine. So, here we go. Learning goals. Understand the 5 principles of classroom culture, very important. If you're going to use discipline and you use it correctly, you're building culture. The culture of the classroom will help you manage the class. If you get the students trained properly, by the middle of the year, they're running the show, and you're merely just the facilitator. You're the coach. You're drinking your coffee, you're walking around, you're helping, but you're not having to scatter around the room or tell everybody to calm down or have everybody get back to their seats because they can't do a group project because everybody is off task. So you want to build a culture, and a culture starts from the very first day of school. Understand all 11 strategies, the essentials to building classroom culture, be able to implement them successfully in the classrooms. That's where you're going to be seeing it, you're going to read it, you're going to discuss it, and then you're going to walk through, you're going to role play some of this. And then understand how to make meaningful connections with our students beginning the first day of school. And in the back of your workbook, if you go to the very back, I've given you 14 tips. They actually duplicated the pages. It's the second one you want. There are 14 tips on how to build connections that don't take any preparation. You just have to keep focused on them and be consistent with them. That will really give you a lot of bang for your buck. Also in the very back, you'll see the warm demander chart, which we'll do at the very end of class, where you kind of see where you are on that chart as a teacher. And it's something that just between you and that warm demander chart, you got to be honest with yourself and see where it is you are and where you need to be by the end of the year. And then lastly, at the very back of the book is the back to school basics, the questions you should have answered before you open the doors on next Wednesday. It's got rooms in the back there on the side, on the right side for notes that you can take. You know, if you need supplies for your classroom, who is that contact person? What do you do if you need referral forms? Well, hopefully after today, you'll realize that maybe you don't even need to carry a referral form in your room. Jake will attest, I don't carry referral forms. We don't do detentions. And so if I can kind of break you of that habit or get that idea out of your head that you don't need to do any of that. I don't even know how to fill out a referral form. It has no purpose for what I do in the classroom. So anyway, all the stuff on that list, it's double-sided, 2 pages, but it's very helpful. I took a lot of input from teachers on what they would want to know on the first day of school. So there you go. Jake, would you read the first slide here? The problem is not discipline.
The number one problem in the classroom is not discipline. It's the lack of procedures and routines. A smooth running classroom is based on the teacher's ability to teach procedures.
We tend to blame discipline on the student. Why? Because it's easy, right? Well, if I just got Johnny and Mary out of my class, the class would be so much better, right? We always want to blame the student, when in fact, it's just the lack of the teacher, right? The adult's procedures in the classroom. I see countless students, folks. I hear them. They tell me this. I don't know what to do in that X class. I have no idea what's expected of me. So I just screw around. I just play with my phone. I talk with my friends. Teacher takes it as, oh, they don't care about the class. Not true. They don't understand your class. They don't understand what you're trying to teach them. It's chaotic. I had kids who've come into my classroom and they'll pull out their earplugs because they said the math class before them was so loud they couldn't concentrate. We don't even know where to get paper in our classroom, Mr. Green. We don't even know what the first thing we're supposed to do in class. I said, do you have a warm-up? Something the kids are supposed to do? No. We wait until the teacher takes roll, has their coffee, goes around and talks to kids in the room, and then says, okay, guys, let's get started. And they spend another 20 minutes telling a story. Really? After a while, the kids just say, you know what? This class is... There's nothing to it. There's no reason to be here. I've got to be here, so I'm just going to tune out. Akemi, would you read that slide for me?
Classroom culture is developed through mutual trust and acceptance, cultivated by positive Students feel empowered to make mistakes and learn from them while also giving powerful feedback to enhance teaching and learning in the classroom.
I want my classroom to be the classroom that everybody wants to come to. You know the most powerful thing students have told me in the past? Mr. Green, you're the only class I like coming to. You need to make them feel welcomed, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. And you want to make them feel safe. And I don't mean safe from somebody punching them in the nose. I mean safe that they can speak out constructively. They can speak out and not be threatened that the class is going to laugh at them. No, they just don't care in this class. Man, I ask questions, but the kids just don't respond. They're quiet. It's because they don't trust you. If I don't trust my professor, if I don't trust my teacher, I'm tuning out. I'm not a vocal guy. It's kind of funny, I do this for a living, but I'm really one of those guys, I'll just shut down. You won't hear from me. I'll just turn my head, I'll do something else. Whereas some of you in this classroom, if I push your right button, you'll pop off back at me, right? And you'll learn your individual students have those buttons, those that you can push, and you realize, don't do that. What can you do to avoid pushing those buttons? At your table, 5 totally misunderstood words. Don't think they're easy. I know what you all think about discipline. It's about behavior. Not exactly, kind of, sort of. So at your table, talk about, maybe take one person covering one word and have a discussion about discipline, management, control, influence, and engagement. What does that mean to you right now